welcome back. It's Monday, June 28th. I'm your host, co-host, I should say. I'm sorry about that, Tyler.
You could be full host. That's okay.
It should be co-host. I am your co-host, John, JP, John. Recently, J-Bone has been added to the rotation. J-Bone.
So I'm T-Bone.
Yeah, that one makes more sense.
It makes a little bit more sense, yeah.
My friend from work is calling me J-Bone now. She was watching, what was that movie? She was watching some movie where they call him, it's either T-Bone or something.
Okay.
So she's calling me J-Bone now.
What bone of the body is J-Bone? You're listening to the Couch Company podcast, by the way.
Yes, This is Couch Company podcast brought to you by State Farm.
State Farm.
Dude.
Like a good neighbor.
State Farm is there. Jake from State Farm. Okay. There's too many thoughts going through my head right now. First of all, the easiest job on the planet is Jake from State Farm, right? Or like Flo from Progressive. Like you show up, you do something fucking stupid for like an hour, and you're getting paid millions of dollars.
For an hour? How long is the commercial?
30 seconds.
Okay.
Yeah, that's probably a good ratio.
Oh, you're saying like they're
probably filming for you're probably there for like
sure.
It's always got to be like way longer than what the actual final product is, right?
I would assume so.
Like for a movie, you're there for months. Fucking 2-hour movie, but for a fucking commercial. Anyways, easiest job on the planet. It has to be.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything else. For like the ratio of what you make to what you have to do. Because if you make it big, it's like Flo from Progressive's got to be fucking loaded.
Yeah, I think that if you want to go down that path, then it's like, okay, how much does like Samuel L. Jackson make by going into like, what does he do? Capital One? Is that a thing? Like what's in your wallet?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
He's got to make more than that.
But he does more.
He's done more, yeah.
She doesn't do anything else, as far as I'm aware.
Poor Flo.
Poor Flo. Yeah, she's fine.
Would you say she is the first person that's like a character? Like an unnamed character. So like how you have like the Verizon guy. He never really had a name, right?
Yeah.
I guess he's the Sprint guy now or something. But
sure.
Is she like the person?
Probably just the first thing that comes to mind is Steve from Blue's Clues.
Well, no. I'm talking like a commercial. Like what other named character on a commercial that they completely made up,
like
right?
Jake from State Farm, but that's after.
Yeah, and I guess you could think like PC guy, Mac guy.
Yeah. But they don't have names, right?
Right, yeah. Which it's ironic. I mean, maybe that's like the play now, right? So the Verizon guy goes over to Sprint.
Yeah.
You have Justin Long, who now is just known as Justin.
Right.
Going over to Microsoft.
They're just betraying everyone. Yeah.
Right,
I mean, that's pretty much the play. You get their recognizability. That's not a word, but we're going to go with that.
It could be.
You get their likeness, which is very well known, and then you're paying them half the price probably because they're washed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what bone of the body is a J-bone?
A J-bone?
I just want to like wrap up all the loose ends that we just made in that first 5 minutes of...
I feel like if you're having a J-bone, you've probably messed something up really badly. No bone's like curved like that, right?
I mean, my pinky's pretty curved, but I guess that's technically two straight bones just at an angle.
Yes, and your pinky's messed up.
It is. Yeah, it's like a
That's what I'm saying.
little fork in the road.
You're not going to get a J in your body unless you fucking destroyed something.
That's fine. I don't even know what a T-bone is, honestly.
Like
it's
a
kind of
T-bone
embarrassing.
Steak?
Yeah, I understand what
so
T-bone
it's like
steak is.
Where is the T-bone?
I don't know. I don't know anything about anything.
My guess is in the pelvic region, but I'm probably way off. If there's any doctors listening to this, they're just cringing. Yeah.
Or just normal human beings that understand
that know where. Anatomy. Sure.
Yeah.
I bet 90% of the world doesn't know where the fucking T-bone is.
Yeah.
If it's even,
that's fair.
Is it in the human body? Probably. Maybe.
I don't
because it's obviously on a cow.
It's on a cow. I would say that it is not an actual name. It's not like the fibula or something like that. I think it's just it looks like a T and it's in some steak. I could be completely
that's
wrong.
Probably
We're
not the
embarrassing
medical
ourselves
name.
right now.
When aren't we?
Fair enough.
That's pretty much our stick at this point.
We should start talking about like tax law or something.
We could talk about tax law, dude. That would be kind of crazy. How long do you think we could get away impersonating like a tax lawyer before?
Who are we impersonating to? Like
a client calls us and they're asking us questions about tax law. How long until they're like, these guys are frauds?
First off, what is the name of our tax law company?
Isn't it usually just two last names?
Oh, just Perez and DeFazio?
Could be like DJ.
DJ?
DJ Ink.
DJ Bone?
DJ Could be if we want 0 clients.
I mean, technically, I could be DJ. I just don't know, like, why would you get the first name and I get the last name? Because DP is just not great.
DP is not great.
It's not a good... I mean, it might be accurate if you're talking about tax laws and
we're going to DP like the competition. Yeah, dude. For sure.
Man. Okay, so this is officially an explicit podcast episode.
Did we hit that mark already?
I will, yeah.
How many F-bombs do we get?
I don't think they actually have a limit.
Really?
Yeah. I tried to looking for it, and it just...
That's interesting.
We didn't get, like, censored or anything. I put our first couple episodes...
I'm sure you need an audience before you can get censored, but yeah.
I mean, we have that guy from Germany. Or girl. Actually, no, I'm pretty sure it was a male, according to the data metrics
does
that
it tell
have.
you?
It tells us everything. That's peek behind the curtain.
Wow.
So...
Well, that's cool. From Germany.
From
you
Germany.
Would think someone from here in the United States would...
Or it could be
maybe
someone from
he's learning English.
Or maybe they have a VPN. Who knows?
Maybe they do have a VPN.
Yeah.
In which they could be still a girl at that point.
It could.
They could be hiding all the information.
Yeah.
Anyways, speaking of lawyers, dude, have you ever seen Better Call Saul?
No. I like him, I think.
Yeah.
I never made up my mind about that actor. I don't even know his name.
Bob Odenkirk.
Okay. He's on some like
he's a comedian.
He's like an action dude in some new movie.
He just got an
right?
action movie, yeah.
Yeah.
I heard that was actually good. I thought it was going to be stupid.
Yeah. Nobody, I think.
Nobody, yes.
Yeah, it has like an 86 on Rotten Tomatoes or something.
Yeah. I was blown away. Like, I thought that was going to suck because, like, if you know anything about his character in, like, Breaking Bad, it's, like, totally the opposite. Like, he's a wimp and he plays that so well. And I was like, he's never going to be an action guy.
Yeah.
And everyone says it's really good, so I'll probably check that out.
I'll check it out. Yeah, but anyway, no, I never saw Better Call Saul. Like,
you watched Breaking Bad, though, right?
Yeah, I love Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad was great.
Better Call Saul is right there with Breaking Bad for me.
Who's the Irish guy? Or not Irish guy. I don't even know what I'm talking about. The Boston guy or New York guy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. The comedian. Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Oh, my God. I can't believe.
Is his name Ed? No. See, we
should
probably cut this.
He's the funniest guy I know.
I like him a whole lot.
It's going to come to me.
He was in Mandalorian, too.
Yes, he was in Mandalorian.
Yeah.
He's amazing.
I'm so bad with names, man.
Dude, me too, but I know who this is.
Yeah, he's right.
I should actually know who this is.
That's right.
It's going to come to me.
It'll come to him.
Yeah.
The Jeff Goldblum, I could never remember his name for the longest time, and now I can't forget his name. Yeah.
What was the turning point?
So he came out with a Christmas album.
Okay.
And I kept trying to tell people how really good his album was.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, it's the guy. He's from Jurassic Park. And like people were just like, what? And just like, and then eventually I just
that could be really wild depending on
it.
who they're thinking of. Yeah, that'd be kind of shocking. He seems like once you learn that he like is a musician, you're like, okay, yeah, that kind of makes sense. It kind of brings it all together.
Oh crap, it's right there. It starts with a B, maybe.
Maybe. Bill Burr.
Bill Burr. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. I don't know why I wanted to say Ed Helms for the longest time. Man.
Ed Helms is great too, though.
And I was worried that we were going to do this
Bill
sober.
Burr, man. Yeah, right? Dude, holy God. How can I not remember him? He's like my favorite comedian, like up there. He's so funny.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I'll say that.
Yeah, so he was in Breaking Bad. Anyways, Better Call Saul is right up there with Breaking Bad for me.
Okay.
But they're different. I mean, Breaking Bad's definitely more like craziness over the top.
Yeah.
Better Call Saul does have its moments. It gets there, but it's so interesting.
Like, what's the hook, right? Like, obviously, you're like rooting for.
So it's like
Walter
how,
White and stuff, but
yeah, it's the same premise kind of where it's how Jimmy McGill, who is Saul Goodman, goes from Jimmy MGill to Saul Goodman. So it's like Walter White becoming Heisenberg.
So this is like
so he starts out as like an honest lawyer guy,
Yeah.
And it's crazy. It just shows it's recounting like how he became Saul Goodman, like, shady, got in like all this crazy shit. And it does like backstory on like some of the other characters too, like Mike, Mike, right? From Breaking Bad, like the
like
old guy,
the giant dude. Oh no, Mike
Ehrmantraut.
Yes, I know the granddad.
Is his character's name? Yeah. Gotcha. So it explores like his background, how he got involved with Gus, and
so like all those characters are in that.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes me
like
somehow more.
Walter
excited,
White's not in it.
Sure. Well, you gotta.
Yeah,
he's too busy doing the Godzilla movie,
right? Exactly.
Or whatever he's doing at that point.
So he like the main characters from like Jesse Pinkman's not in it, but it's like all the side characters. Like this is their like origin story. So like Saul and Mike were connected in Breaking Bad. So this is like how they met each other and how they got mixed up in this crazy cartel stuff, and it's awesome.
I mean, I guess that makes sense. And so they don't have like these like wink, wink, nudge, nudge type of things. Like they don't just like pass each other in the street or something like that. Like bringing in Walter White.
They haven't shown him yet. They will show him on the last season's coming out probably early next year, and they're gonna.
And that's when it kind of goes back.
Yes, he's gonna be in that.
Yeah,
I don't know how they're gonna do it. He might just be a fucking teacher or whatever.
Sure,
but yeah, it's so crazy. Like,
what if that's how they end it? Just like whenever he first walks in.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Like it just bridges
chemistry
the gap.
is matter changing. And that's how it ends. That'd be sweet.
That'd be cool.
It's just it's insane.
So how many seasons are there?
5, I think.
5, jeez.
I think it's either the 5th one's coming out and it's the last one, or the 6th one's coming out. I think the 6th one's coming out, if I had to say.
Okay.
It's so good. I think it's super criminally underrated.
Yeah.
It's right up there with Breaking Bad for me. Breaking Bad, like, probably the best TV show of all time, in my opinion. Like,
well, you never watched Startup, but I mean, I
didn't watch Startup.
Okay.
That's crazy. You would actually put Startup above Breaking Bad?
So no, and the only reason is because Breaking Bad actually ended,
right?
And they had like a full thing. Where Startup, unfortunately, at least to my knowledge, they ended on a insane cliffhanger on season 3, and it's just done because Crackle lost it and it's over at Netflix now. So there is that opportunity that Netflix does their thing.
They'll pick it up again.
They'll pick it up just for like a season or something to like wrap it up. Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. No. First of all, I am not a fan of cliffhanger endings, even though I'm a very imaginative person.
Yeah.
It's just like the fact that nothing's concrete. I hate that about it.
Yeah, like I'm good because I mean Breaking Bad had plenty of it, but it's like if you know that okay, this is the set thing, this is how we're ending it, we're like that makes perfect sense.
Well, I'm even talking about like okay, you finished a book and it's like, well, what happened to him? You don't really know.
Yeah,
it's ambiguous,
right?
And, you know what I mean? Like things like that. Some people love that where it's like, oh man, everyone thinks something different, but
it depends how long I have to wait. Honestly,
no, I'm talking about like it's over.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You're
like
saying
the end,
the
like
series
goodbye.
Is over and it's done.
Series is over, and
it's a
is he alive? Is he dead?
Yeah,
like
a real Ross Rachel moment. Like, do
Ross
they end up getting married? Oh, that's before your time.
No, dude. Friends is in my top 5.
Okay,
for TV shows.
Now, when you say TV shows,
I thought you meant getting together, and I was like, well, they obviously did at the end.
Yeah, sure.
Spoilers for Friends.
They
hug. It's been enough time, right?
I don't know. I mean,
20 fucking years.
Does my nephew and niece ever watch Friends?
Dude, I think that show's timeless.
In 10 years.
I think it is.
Oh, there is a lot of, I don't want to say homophobic stuff in there, but there's a lot of like, ooh.
No, yeah, definitely. There is a lot of that stuff, but I don't get offended by that stuff very much, honestly.
Just, you mean like based off of like the time and stuff?
Like, yeah, I wouldn't be like, oh man, I'm never watching this again because some jokes didn't age well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think they came out and said some of that stuff. Which is interesting. They bypass all of that stuff in the Friends reunion. That was tough to watch.
Yeah, you didn't like it?
Like, it was fine.
Yeah.
But like,
dude, I was lied to. I was like, I thought this was gonna be like an episode.
Yeah, well, I thought it was like because they were like it's an unscripted episode or something like that. But it was just like it was they were literally reading from the script. Like,
yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know.
And it was like just a trip down memory lane,
yeah,
which is fine. It was just marketed incorrectly.
Did I need to see Justin Bieber wear a potato Sputnik costume and
there was a lot of filler.
Yes.
And I now see why you don't like anime.
Yes. Basically, Friends is anime. Or the Friends episode was an anime.
Friends is anime.
Yeah.
We should have a segment called Does It Anime, where we test to see if something's actually an anime in disguise.
I would say most things are anime in disguise.
Yeah.
You could probably draw parallels to everything.
Well, yeah, anime is so encompassing that, dude, it's so good. I just wish I had someone to talk to about it. Even I've surpassed Nate, where it's like, dude, anime. I just watched this show. Yeah. And it's like, I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, fuck.
I'm 2 episodes into Cowboy Bebop. That's about
Cowboy Bebop is the show for people who don't like anime.
I cannot wait for the live action. That's going to be
no, dude. It's going to fucking suck, man.
I think we talked about that already, but yeah, no. I don't know.
Name a good live action adaptation. Name one.
Ooh.
Name one. You can't do it. I can't.
I thought we had this. Did we not have this conversation?
We did, and you moved on because
Hitman?
you were like, oh yeah, you did say Hitman,
yeah.
but you admitted that it was bad. You just liked it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a good live action. I would say maybe Jungle Book. Right? Didn't that get decent reviews?
I don't think so.
I don't count Lion King because that's still animated. That's not live action. That's ridiculous.
True, but still, even with that, it sucked.
Yeah,
like original Lion King's.
Well,
so
yeah, if you're
better.
going with the original, I guess that's.
Dude, original Lion King, what a movie! By the way,
Dark Knight. I don't know.
Dark Knight.
Yeah,
was in that.
It's an adaptation. It's a live action adaptation.
Yeah.
I don't know if necessarily like the.
It's not a 1-to-1, but yeah, I guess I can concede that to you.
Yeah.
Because like in my head, it's like okay, they're adapting Aladdin live action, like a 1-to-1. Like this is the story.
Yeah.
Whereas comic books get a little gray because it's like you can do anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Aladdin was probably
unless it was like we're
one.
adapting the, Batman the animated series to live action.
Which you can't do.
Yeah. Unless you have the Fountain of Youth for Kevin Conroy and get him fucking ripped.
Apparently, Tom Welling just posted that they're doing like a cartoon version of Smallville and trying to get like all the old cast of Smallville to do the voices. And I don't know if he was just joking around or whatever.
Oh, wow, really?
Michael Rosenbaum. Was that like before your time?
Michael Rosenbaum? Wasn't he Flash?
No, he was in the animated series.
Yeah.
But Michael Rosenbaum played Lex Luthor in live action Smallville.
Right. Oh, so you're talking about Smallville live action?
Yes, I'm sorry.
I see.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't hear about it. They're doing a comic book for the animated universe.
Oh.
I did
not know that.
And so, because there's been like whisperings of like reunion, things like that.
Sure.
So my theory is, if those do well, they might greenlight something. Probably a movie, I would say. I don't think they could do another whole season of a TV show.
Movies and stuff, though. Like people, do people like movies? Is that
I think
is that
so.
something, or is that just like?
Especially if it's a reunion, that's the way you do it. Like, are they going to have enough content to? Maybe they do. I mean, I don't know.
They could always anime it and just spread it out.
My God,
spread it out a little bit.
Speaking of anime, dude, I just watched the new Demon Slayer movie. It is so. Anyways, this was actually something I wanted to talk about. I'm all over the place, but
we all are. I guess we have just super high caffeine levels right now. I don't know.
I was about to pick up a Red Bull, but I got here first.
All right. Well, lay it on me. What do you want?
Okay. Anyway, so there's this app. It's called like My Anime. Well, it's technically a website. It's called My Anime List, and it has every anime ever made, pretty much, and you like rate your score. You can leave reviews, things like that. But the app is so nice, where it's like, it's not like finished, but it looks so clean, where it's like you have all of your anime listed. It looks really nice. You can just slide through it. You can search whatever you want. Like there should be that for like video games and movies and stuff like that. But there's no app that's like directly, just, I watched this, I can just plug this in. Oh, I'm watching this TV show. Because like you can chart like what episode you're on, and there's like a nice progress bar. It's just really laid out really nicely.
So that has to have like some sort of API. Like, do you know where it's pulling from? Like, is it like an IMDb thing? Is it like Crunchyroll? Like, you know what I'm talking about? Like, there has to be a database that
it's its own website,
right? But it's the one, like, it's actually
plug in
aggregating all that
your
information.
Score to that website, and it's just the average of that website's.
So it's almost like a how long to beat type of thing, right? Like, so like everyone like types in their own rating or how long it's taken them to beat it, and it just aggregates the scores together.
Exactly.
Huh. That's interesting.
And there's enough
cool.
users on it where it's like, pretty good. You can get a good gist of like.
I mean, we could probably do that, honestly, like coding wise. Like,
that's what I'm saying. Like, has nobody thought of it, or am I missing something? I mean, it's not marketed well. If there is, I wish I could pull up my video game app.
Yeah.
Oh, I just finished this, man. It was an 8 out of 10.
Sure.
Let me see the reviews on the next one, and it's really cool because it's like, so anime is like separated into seasons. Seasonal anime is like pretty much what it is now. So if there's something coming up in the fall, it'll be like, okay, here are the top 5 most anticipated anime coming out in fall, voted by the users. That would be awesome for video games. Like, what is everyone excited about? It gives me like good recommendations and things like that. But I haven't seen, like, I know there's IMDb for like movies, TV shows, but like there's not like an app where you can just scroll through everything you've ever watched and have it really cleanly laid out, what your progress is, what score you gave it, what the average score is.
They had a few of them kind of like that. So like you can pull your library into different like catalogs. Something like GameFire or some, I don't know, bullshit name.
Yeah.
Where they had that kind of stuff. They have like OpenCritic will actually let you use a plugin for your like Apple Calendar or something.
Okay.
And it'll actually show you all the upcoming releases and like most anticipated and things
cool.
like that, which is neat.
Yeah.
But yeah, to your point, I wonder if there is an app that
it's
does
not
that.
mainstream unless I just don't know about it.
Yeah, I mean, I've looked plenty of times, not specifically for what you're talking about with like ratings and things like that, but I wanted something where I could catalog my actual library, right?
Yeah.
Like I wanted to actually be able to see like everything in one place.
And this would
like,
be
if I'm lending stuff out or whatever.
Have that this would have that purpose as well.
Yeah.
Cross platforms and things of that nature, because you can do that on Steam, obviously, which for you is plenty.
Yeah, well,
but
sure.
Yeah, dude, why don't we just make that and make millions of dollars?
Millions? How much would you sell an app like that for, though?
Be free. You just get advertising, for sure. This one's
but
free.
Nobody likes advertising. That's the thing. Or would you do like a
free
like
and then
free
pay
and
$1 to get rid of ads, right?
Ads, yeah.
That's fair to me. Sounds nice. That's so just easy. And like this site's so great because it's like you can see what the top characters are, because like, you can have favorites for characters and stuff. So it's like, okay, this is, this guy has 1 million favorites on our site. He's like the most favorite anime character and stuff like that.
Do animes like do crossovers as much as like comics and things like that, or is that just kind of like a weird?
Not really, not as much as like Marvel and things like that. No.
Yeah, I guess now that I think of it, video games really don't do that either. I just thought it'd be interesting,
tough.
like if you have like a list of characters in a game,
right?
You click on that character, and then that shows you every game they're ever in, or something like that.
It does do that.
Yeah, I mean that'd be really cool.
You can go to a character bio. It gives you a synopsis of the character, and it's really stupid information too. Like some of them have like blood type and stuff. It's like crazy.
That's a big thing in Japan. I remember with
all
the Tekken booklets. Like it would be like likes video games, dislikes losing at video games, blood type. Oh,
that's the
Yoshimitsu's.
Final Fantasy not cheat sheet. The guide has every character's blood type.
Yeah,
it's
got to be a cultural
bizarre.
thing.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't even tell you my blood type. I want to say it's AB.
I don't know what mine is either.
Can you do just AB, or is it AB positive, AB negative? I know I'm sounding like an.
We don't know where the
moron.
T-bone is.
Yep.
We don't know. I want to say
crack that.
AB is a thing.
I don't know.
I want to say AB is a thing. I have no idea.
Well, it's definitely a thing. I'm just saying, can it just be, hey, my blood type's AB, or is it always AB positive? AB
no, I
negative?
understand what you're asking. Dude, your cat is coming for my stuff. It would probably make sense if it had to have a charge to it, right? Right?
For the app?
No. A charge
for the blood type.
negative.
Yeah. I would assume so. I think you have to have one or the other. Just AB neutral.
Yeah, that sounds stupid.
Can you have both? Can I be both?
Can
AB
you be a neutron, or do you have to be a proton or an electron?
See, I thought O was just if you're O, you're just like a superhero, right? Like you could just be anything.
Yeah, I
whatever.
think you can't die if you're O. I believe I heard that somewhere.
Okay, well that makes more sense then. But the problem is if you're O negative or O positive, I didn't even know that was a thing. Or is
that
there
a thing?
O positive?
I thought O was like the universal.
I thought so too.
I don't fucking know, man. How did we get on this?
Anime.
Oh, anyways, our app.
Yeah, you're right.
Dude, everyone's just going to steal our ideas from this like garbage podcast and then just make billions of dollars.
Yeah, but at least we will bring something awesome. Dude, I don't even care if somebody steals this kind of stuff because I just want something, like I would use it. Right?
No, I would care if someone stole my stuff. If it's worth a lot of money,
my thing is I don't even care. Like I would.
I mean, not that this idea is revolutionary, but it just seems like it's one of those things where you're like, okay, this should exist, and I don't see it.
Yeah, or it exists, but it's this hacked together, not well designed.
Right.
Like that's
it's
got to
be clean.
It has to be clean. It has to feel good. It has to be snappy. And like I know I'm very pretentious with that kind of stuff, but I will straight up delete an app that has an extreme amount of functionality.
Yeah.
If it's a badly designed app.
Yeah.
I don't have.
This has to be real clean. And the problem with the one I was describing is, first of all, it's not even completed, so it doesn't function super well. And it's like it's one of those apps where it's connected to the website. So a lot of the times when you're clicking on things, it just brings you to the website.
You're feeding it to the site. Sure.
But just the idea, the aesthetic of it, the easiness of it is so appealing to me. I can just, I finish something, boom, I can see it.
And see, it would be fairly easy to do from an app standpoint because the main thing when you're trying to build an app like that, and I'm going to talk like I know what the fuck I'm talking about. I don't.
That's all we do.
Yeah. So really it comes down to like, how do you house that information? Where do you pull that information from? So Giant Bomb actually released an API, which will it just all the video games, just any video game, you can pull that data.
Okay.
In screenshots, information, title, all that stuff.
Right.
So like that exists, and I think it's free, to be honest. Like as long as you like credit or something like that.
Okay.
So like that's not the problem, which is interesting because then why doesn't this exist? And maybe it doesn't, like you said, like we just don't know about it, or maybe it's like, okay, you could have this app, or you could just go on IGN.com. Or OpenCritic.com or a million other sites.com if you're looking something up. Like,
I'm telling you, it's so nice because, like, in my experience, I'm sitting there in bed watching, like, the Demon Slayer movie. And this is my whole point in the first place.
Right.
So it was a 10 out of 10. And I only have 4. So that's my 4th 10 out of 10 that I've seen.
And this is something that other people are telling you it's 10 out of 10. So watch it.
So
or is this
the average score is like 8.73 or something.
Okay, so then you gave it a 10.
And I gave it a 10.
Gotcha. Okay.
And that's what kind of sucks is like you have to give it a round number, which I kind of hate because some things are like, oh man, I wish I could give it an 8.5.
Do you round up or down?
Depends.
Or is it depending? Okay,
yeah.
so
like if it's closer to a 9, I'll give it a 9. If it's closer to an 8, I'll give it to 8. So I found myself giving most things like either a 7 or an 8. And here's the thing. Okay, we're devolving here. First of all, my grading system is a lot different than a lot of people. So most people you ask is like, okay, 5's average. No way is 5 average. If you go to a girl and say, oh yeah, she's a 5, dude, she will cry, dude. There's just no way. So in our heads, dude, the average is 7.
We need to revisit what girls you're going up to and saying, hey, you're a 5. Or any number for that matter.
Okay, any number. But you know what I'm saying. Like you're in high school and you're rating girls, which is incorrect, but you know, it's fucking.
I don't think I've ever. I mean, go on. Yeah,
You've never done that?
I don't think so, but I'm sure I.
Okay, it could be anything, dude. It could be like a hot dog. Okay,
sure.
This hot dog's a 5 out of 10.
I've read some hot dogs before. Okay,
sure. Yeah. Something you're more comfortable with.
5 out of 10.
Familiar
so
with.
You're talking just like regular ballpark.
If I was like, dude, Tyler, this hot dog's a 5 out of 10.
Yeah.
Would you be like, oh yeah, that's an average hot dog? You'd be like, dude, that's a disgusting hot dog.
No, and I would consider that a poor hot dog.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'd say average is
because
about 7.
I believe that we're all in the mindset of like grading systems, as in like schooling, where a 7 out of 10 would actually be average. Technically a 7.5, you know, a C.
Okay.
So that's how I grade. So if I'm giving something a 7 out of 10, to me, that's average. Maybe even a little bit below average.
That's interesting. Yeah. So you're going from like a percentage.
I'm going like a percentage, like a grading, alphabetical, whatever you want to think of it as. That's how I grade things because nobody in the right mind, like you have all these shows on there that are like 7 out of 10 and the technical rating on that is like good or something. Yeah. Whereas 5 is average. But that's just like nobody rates it like that.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of weird because at that point, like, if you're conditioned to say like 5 is bad, right, or like poor or subpar,
like, to me,
or
5
whatever.
is failing. So 6 out of 10 is barely passing.
So really, you're operating on like a 5 scale,
pretty much.
Because if they hit 5, like you're.
There are things that can go lower, like abominations.
Would you give Time of Day to a 6?
Yeah. So for me, my criteria is. I have to finish it for it to be a 6.
Okay.
So pretty much if I finish something and I didn't like it, it's going to be a 6. It's going to barely pass because it kept me interested enough to finish.
Yeah, I gotcha.
And if I drop something, it's going to fail. And then we'll see if it's 1 through 5.
Gotcha. And we're talking about anime here, not...
Well, because of my app, I would do it for video games, but I don't have an app for that. Or movies. I would love to do it for movies. I was trying to go through and like kind of chart like everything I've seen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I do have my top 10 movies and a lot more in my notes, but I don't know everything I've seen. I wish I had that database where I can just go through. And again, IMDb is like, you know,
sure.
That would be.
Do you feel
ideal.
Yourself? So, I mean, since we're already on the topic of animes and ratings and things like that, do you find yourself becoming? And I'm going to say the word pretentious. I don't mean pretentious.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah.
Do you find yourself becoming more pretentious with your ratings or tastes or things like that as you're getting more into the anime, like let's call it culture?
Yeah.
So, like, you know, are you starting to see what other people's opinions
becoming
are?
A snob.
And, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Like
yes.
if I'm drinking a bunch of coffee,
right.
It used to be any coffee's fine. Now it's like, oh my god, this Dunkin' Donuts coffee tastes like ass. Like I can't even drink it anymore. You know.
So this is a big thing in the anime community. Like people are such pieces of shit. Where they just absolutely.
So I'm going to say I assumed that, but not because of anime, just because of
any fandom.
So I like keyboards, right?
Same thing.
Well, actually, that's not fair because keyboard communities are actually pretty dope. But yeah, any thing where you can have. Dude, you want a nice community?
Yeah.
And you go to a keyboard community, it is a tight community. Yeah. People are super nice.
Yeah, because there's like 5 of you.
Stay off Reddit. But other than that, like if you're just on the Twitter
even with Reddit, I'm sure like you only get so many death threats.
Yeah, well, I mean, everyone's doing group buys and stuff, and you have to do this together because if you don't do a group buy and be all like, kumbaya,
that's a good point.
You don't get anything, right?
Wow. Is the keyboard community
the best
nicest community? That would be an interesting research project. I can tell you what the worst ones are.
Yeah, anime.
Anime's bad.
League of Legends.
League is bad. I will argue Call of Duty is worse than League.
Really?
Yeah.
You know what? I would give you that.
Yeah.
Because I think there's a lot more...
It's a lot more little
like
kids.
Younger,
and I feel like voice chat makes a difference. You know?
Yeah, sure.
Seeing the N-word and getting called the N-word are 2 different experiences.
Yes.
Because in League, you can like censor bad words too. So...
Yeah, and they can like if you like...
So you can see a bunch of stars when, you know, the chat's lighting up, and you can mute people.
Was League the one where if you typed in like GG Easy, they like rewrote your line? No? What game was that? Some game.
I don't know. That sounds crazy, though.
Yeah, if you type GG Easy... it would change it and auto-correct it to like,
just GG.
Hey, well played, good game. I'm too insecure about myself. Like it was like
oh
this
my
whole,
God,
like,
that's amazing.
Yeah, it was hilarious. I thought it was League. Maybe not.
I thought you were gonna say they like changed it just to like, oh, great game, like you played well, like something stupid,
something like that. But it was
like insulted.
It insulted the person that wrote it. Anywho, what were you talking about? So anime pretentiousness.
Am I pretentious now that I've been watching?
Yeah, are your tastes evolving, or are you still coming at it from do I like just this show? So for me, I'm looking at it, do I like Cowboy Bebop for what it is? So far in the 2 episodes I've seen, yes, I think it's pretty cool. I'll keep at it. But
obviously it's not good enough where you're, you know, in.
I'm in. The problem is I started watching
Startup.
I finished Startup. Startup's out.
Startup.
But no, I started watching Curb Your Enthusiasm and going to sleep.
It's a great show.
It is such a great
show.
Great show to fall asleep to.
I was watching, so I had that problem with Brooklyn Nine-Nine because I got into that, and that was my show before bed. So that killed my anime for a while. Okay, to answer your question, after the long awaited
I like this freeform flowing
freeform jazz, yeah. I would say no. I really try to do my best. I could feel the temptation sometimes.
Sure.
Where I see a really bad take on the internet and I want to roast them, but I do stop myself. I actually don't comment like at all, like hardly ever. I just don't. I'm not a commenter. I'm a lurker, dude. I just don't feel the need to comment. I don't think it's very productive. Like sometimes it'll just be like, oh man, this is amazing. And I'm just sitting there like, well, yeah, it's rated like 9 out of 10 on average for millions of people.
Right.
Obviously, it's amazing. Like, and then there's the flip side of that where it's like, oh, this is such shit. It's
so,
like,
I mean, and this applies to games and movies and everything else. But like, if you see something and it's like, oh, this got a 10 out of 10, and you play it and you're just like, this is not for me. Right? And
so,
it's just like...
Yeah, this is a really interesting question. So I would see all these ratings because, you know, all the, like, having something like that, I can easily see what the consensus is by the community before I jump into it. Like, that's how I was getting my recommendations. Like, at first it was from my friends, and then when I surpassed them, it was like, okay, well, I'll just see what's popular and, like, what people like.
I am the captain now.
It sucks, by the way. But... it's really interesting because I'm really critically sitting there watching. I'm like, do I like this or do I know that everyone else likes this? So I'm just saying it's good.
Sure.
And I really, you know, that's a struggle sometimes, you know, so.
Well, it's like Red Dead Redemption. It's Grand Theft Auto. It's Witcher. It's, you know, it's all these games where it's just like, oh, these are things that people are passionate about.
Yeah.
They love. Yeah. They will defend to the death. And it's just like, it just never spoke to me. I don't know. Like, I don't really care about it. And it's like, are we missing something? Is it that good? And then the kind of the other half of that is how many games are we just not giving the time of day because it got a 7 or a 6 or something like that? Because there's just so much content out there right now that if you have a choice of like, okay, hey, here's these 20 things that are 10 out of 10s, right? There's a chance, probably not a good chance, but a chance that you might hate all of those.
Right.
But then, like, you're never, like, because there's so much good, like, 10 out of 10 content out there, or 9 out of 10 or whatever.
Yeah.
You're never going to give the time of day to something that's like a 6.5 or a 7 or something like that, just because you're playing the odds at that point. But is that doing a disservice to you and
like finding
else?
the hidden gems?
Yeah, it's finding like that would be the app, or that would be the missing thread. Is like, if you like something and you like. And Netflix does this to an extent, and even Steam does it. But it's like, oh, I really like this thing.
Related titles,
exactly.
Yeah, it does do that.
But like how well, and it's like,
it's not
just because you rated this as I like
this. It's based off of in this one, it's based off recommendations, not an algorithm. So
gotcha.
People will literally put on there like, hey, if you like this, you'll like this, and there's like you can see like 50 people voted for this one if you liked that one.
And are you saying like this is like? Is it niche or niche? What do you do?
Niche. Yes.
Is it okay? Is it?
That's how I say it.
I always say niche because I didn't want to sound pretentious, but I'll go niche with you.
Niche.
Is it niche enough? Community, right? It only because it's like a kind of like you said, it's like an up and coming app, things like that.
Okay.
Is it a niche enough community that people are taking it very seriously? You don't get the trolls. I guess is my question, or is it?
It's tough to say. I don't know if some people are just brain damaged or some people like are trolls. It's hard to tell sometimes because. I was going to bring up this point earlier. So this, obviously, we're talking about anime, but this applies across the board. Like you said, movies, TV shows, video games. There will be a really good show. You wouldn't know any of them, so it doesn't matter. So there will be a really good show that's rated really highly, and then they'll just have all these ones. So, like, for example, the top-rated show on the app is Full Metal Alchemist, which I know you tried and you didn't like.
Yeah.
But it's like a 9.2 almost, which is insane on average, right? So that's like so many 10s.
Sure.
Anyways, but there's just like so many 1s as well. And I'm just sitting there like, you can't give it a 1. Like a 1 is something that's just not complete, like not
so they're essentially review bombing.
Yeah, exactly.
More or less.
So I guess my answer would be yes. I guess there is trolls because like,
it's hard to not have that on the internet, right?
Right. They just hate it so much that they give it a 1. And I'm just like, if you're really being honest with yourself, even if you hate this show, like I'm even sure you wouldn't give it a 1 just based off how it looks or the voice acting or whatever.
Just from what I watched, I would minimum would be a 7. And just from what you guys told me, like it's enough of a good story. Like it's not the show itself that I didn't like. And I'm not saying that I would never watch it again or give it another shot or anything because I'm in a different place now than I was.
Sure.
2 years, 3 years ago, whenever I saw it. So, like, it's not so much that, but like, there's a lot to that show specifically that it would be like, no, you have to say like, oh, well, if the animation's not for you, then you have the voice acting or the story or like, there's a lot to it for sure.
Yeah. And so, anyways, I guess back to your point about being a snob as well. For me, I think I do a really good job of identifying things that are done well about a show. Now. Since we're talking about anime, the different things that you could be looking for in an anime is the story, the animation style, the fights, for example. Like some people only care about the fights, which is, totally understandable.
But see, that's what I'm saying is that needs to be the criteria. So instead of just saying, oh, because you said you liked this thing, here's 3 other things that are kind of like it.
Yeah.
You need to go one step further to have a truly personalized experience and say like, oh, because you clicked that you liked this for the fights and the story, here are things that match those two.
It does do that. I mean, like, you'll have a shonen, which is like the action genre with the fights.
Oh,
That's what it's called. So it'll recommend you another shonen, another action one. So it's not going to recommend you a romance after you watch like Dragon Ball Z.
I don't know, man. Sometimes you need like a palate cleanser, just kind of like that, wind down. Yeah. And
there's some things. I actually just watched this one show. It's called Love is War, and it's like a rom-com. It is so funny, dude. It was actually so well done.
Love is War. Wasn't that so the live action version of that is with Tom Hardy and Kirk
no way.
And
I feel like this manga just came out not too long ago.
Okay.
That would be but it's like a rom-com, but it's like the reason it's really funny is because there's like this really over the top narrator that's narrating this.
Yeah.
And he's like treating it like the most serious fucking thing in the world, but it's really good satire.
Now, are you watching like these dubbed things or are these?
I watch in dub, which is like blasphemous for a lot of people.
That's my point. Is like I just there was some TikTok that popped up and it's like people are talking about dub versus sub and people were going off.
It's stupid. I mean,
the reservation for that kind of stuff, and
I don't know why. Like, it doesn't affect you what other people watch, right?
Yeah. I mean, I would assume not, but I guess that goes back to my original question of you saying like, you know, are you pretentious? I would say that if you were pretentious, then you would only watch subbed, not dubbed, and things like that. Like I'm pretentious, and I only use, I don't know, like I will never use another clicky switch on a mechanical keyboard.
Yeah, there you go.
But that's just me being like,
right.
I don't necessarily hate it.
Yeah, but you're not going to flame someone for using it.
I might.
Really?
No, I wouldn't. But I would. In my head, it would be hard for me to be like, what do you like about it? You like clicky,
okay?
Right? Like that.
I am with you there. Like, I can understand why people watch. So I would say the more popular would be subbed because it's the original. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And so I could understand like, oh, you're not getting the authentic experience. You're not getting the you know. But dude, I don't know what they're saying, man. Like, what do you want me to do?
Well,
like,
that's what I mean. So you're not like going to Rosetta Stone and saying, I need to learn Japanese or.
And they're like,
whatever,
well, just read the subtitles. And I'm like, well, then I'm missing half the beautiful animation that's on this. Like, I just want to know what they're saying, dude. I want to know what they're saying. And I know there's translation. I'm not going to get the authentic. It's like the Bible. You're not going to get the authentic experience. Like, I'm sorry.
You need the King James version from anime.
But,
I gotcha.
And today, like, it's gotten a lot. So popularity has definitely gone up. So the quality of the voice actors have gotten a lot better, man.
Uh-huh.
The voice acting in anime it's really top notch. Like, you're getting some really big hitters in you know, the popular ones at least. But I would say pretty much around across the board now. Cowboy Bebop still to this day is one of the best. That was back in the 90s really actually, which is crazy. But I would say that the dub, I would claim the dub is better than the sub in Cowboy Bebop.
That's a hot take.
That's a very hot take, but dude, it's the best dub I've ever heard. The voice actors are incredible.
I would not watch it if it was subbed. And that's me coming in completely fresh and new on the anime front.
Dude, Spike's voice actor's so good.
This is Spike's the original.
He's the Afro guy.
Yeah.
Deep voice, cool guy.
So in this, forgive my ignorance, is anime just Japanese?
So like, dude, people get so butthurt over this, but I guess like the definition is anime is like the term for Japanese like animation, I guess, is like the short version.
Yeah,
there's
I just didn't know if it was like...
People correct everyone online. They're like, oh, there's this big, long definition of what it is. That's pretty much what it is.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
So like, I guess American animation is called cartoons. Like, I don't know. Like, you can't call like Avatar: The Last Airbender anime. People will like explode at you. It's so stupid.
Oh, why? Because
it's American.
Oh, Avatar is 100% American?
Yeah.
Huh.
Probably like...
I'm learning a lot. Okay.
Yeah. Avatar is lit, dude. That was like one of the best things we put out there.
Over Legend of Korra?
Oh, yeah. The original is way better than Legend of Korra.
But isn't there a lot of... I thought there was like a lot of filler in Avatar. Maybe not.
I haven't seen it in a very long time. There might be some.
What about Naruto? Is that American?
No.
Okay.
Naruto is, like the name suggests, Japanese.
Oh, I'm sorry. Legend of Korra. Like,
fair.
Avatar. Like, I don't know. Like,
Avatar is a
what's
English
the main
word.
character's name in Avatar?
Aang.
Aang? Oh, okay. That's the classic American name.
Not
Aang.
the point, Tyler.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, I don't think it's like based in Japan, is it? It's a different world. I don't know.
Sure.
Either. It's been a long time.
Dude, that's
great. Did you watch that one?
No, I never saw him.
Really?
Yeah.
What did you watch?
I watched Batman the Animated Series.
Batman the Animated Series, I would put up there with any anime. It is a magnum opus of American animation.
Yes. Yeah, I'll give you that.
Yeah.
'Cause they did so many new cool things. Like, the entire thing was drawn on, like, black paper and stuff like that, which is, like, super cool. Yeah.
Wild. With Gotham and everything.
Yep.
And just... the whole thing, man, it was so well written too. Like, even when you get into like the Superman show and the animated universe, like they call it the DC animated universe, I guess, which is like, I forget who, like
Justice League, Superman, Batman.
Yeah. I forget who did that. There's like a guy who's pretty much in charge of that, but I can't remember who it is.
He did the Arkham games. I think they brought him in for that.
Right,
too.
exactly.
Yeah.
He's like that's just his bread and butter, dude.
Yeah.
Like he just knows that so well.
And they're doing the new Batman animated series, which I don't know.
Is another one?
I don't know if it's. I think we talked about this, but I don't know if it's a continuation or anything. But they're coming back with it.
Oh wow!
They showed like a silhouette of Batman. He has like these really long pointed ears, so I don't think it's
What's
like a continuation.
The art style? Is it?
They just showed a poster. I don't know. Like the only thing that excited me, and I actually tweeted about this, where it's like they kept the old like Art Deco looking script, like the Batman like font.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's the most exciting part about the entire thing, because that was the thing, and people don't really realize that, like the day and age the Batman the animated series was like, like the 50s or like I guess maybe 20s or something like that, but like the cars are all old, everything is just old.
I think it's later than the 20s, but yes, it
probably
is,
but like
it's in the
like
1900s for sure.
Yeah,
early to mid.
It was cool.
Yes,
I liked it a lot.
Yeah, so that is where that takes place, although it does get a little wonky because like Justice League and stuff.
Well, they changed it up. They had like the new adventures of Batman and Robin. So they had like the first 60 episodes, I think, or maybe there was like 40 episodes where you had like the classic animation.
Oh, I see.
It was a little, I don't want to call it sloppier. It was a little bit more organic, and it was less like straight lines and things like that.
Yeah, I do know what you're talking about.
They
Yeah,
converted it to where like Superman was and Justice League and stuff. Yeah.
Okay. That does make sense because I have seen those distinctions before in like art style, which is interesting. I'm assuming you like the original better?
I do. I don't really care too much. I just felt that the original was, and this is going to sound super artsy fartsy or whatever, but it felt warmer to me.
Okay.
Where
I don't know how anything can feel warm in Gotham, but sure.
It doesn't make any sense to me. And as a kid, and this is getting way out there, but like as a kid, I was always attracted to warm colors, cozy colors. I didn't like sharp lines. So I always liked circles. I liked red, orange, yellow. Anytime I had a choice, I would always pick that, and I would always view purple, blue, green triangles as like cold, off-putting. Didn't like it.
Wow.
I know, man. I'm messed up.
Wait, I thought you liked purple.
I do now.
Oh, I'm just saying. So you've evolved.
As a kid, orange was my favorite color. That was kind of
interesting.
So with the animated series, it was a lot. If you look at them side by side, it was a lot more rounded lines.
Right,
which I know sounds crazy with Batman and stuff.
No, even his face, like I know exactly what you're talking about.
It was less angled, it was less harsh. Sometimes the lines didn't actually connect, and like it was a little bit more fluid. And then it moved over, like everyone had like white eyes, pupils, things like that. And then it went into this weird space with like the Joker just looked way colder, and he was like pale, but almost to like blue. He wasn't just white, and his hair was always like perfect triangle, and like they had these perfect jaw lines.
I will say I don't love the Joker's design in like the animated series and stuff. There's a couple other characters that I prefer, like in other mediums, but Joker is definitely one where he's super pale and like he's like a ghost, like he's like white. It's crazy.
And I loved him in like his original thing because he had character, and he was and it was the same. They completely redid the Scarecrow and like Mr. Freeze. Now it's kind of funny because I'm like, oh, Mr. Freeze is cool. Like
Mr. Freeze is amazing.
Mr. Freeze was this. Yes, he was Mr. Freeze. He was cool. I get that.
Yeah,
I'm saying he was a warmer character in the way that like they just made him so sharp looking with just pointed everything whenever they redid him.
That was the style when they redid it. It was very blocky.
Like the bad guys looked very like
even the good. Like look at Superman's design.
True.
You remember that?
Yeah.
Like the men in that show were broad shoulders, like real bulky, but very straight, like chiseled jaw, like you were describing before. Very straight lines. So I can definitely
and not that the original one wasn't like bulky and like like V triangle pyramid like torso and stuff, but like it's still they weren't afraid to round off the muscles. They weren't afraid to do that. And then whenever Superman came out, then they kind of moved Batman into it and kind of aligned that with like
they had to match
League.
it. So it was either they brought Superman down, not down to Batman, but you know what I mean. They had to even him out.
Well, I mean, I am almost certain that that's an easier animation art style to go. And I don't know anything about that short of like the few classes I took in college.
Absolutely. I mean, if you're going to do straight lines, that's got to be easier than curves.
One would think.
I
would assume by that point they're doing a lot more with computers and things like that. But
really, I don't know, dude. That was like early 2000s. I might have been hand drawn.
I could be 100% wrong. I just always associated the original animated series with things like like Disney movie, like Aladdin.
Yeah, right.
Now, granted, when you go back, holy cow, does that they don't hold up, right? Like the Joker goes with like pupils, and then sometimes he just has a black dot because they were like rushing the animation stuff, and it was bizarre.
So you're talking about the earlier design
in the original designs, yeah. But if you take that and you compare it to the full feature, like the Mask of the Phantasm, like that is like a masterclass in animation because it uses all the old characters, and it is just gorgeous. Like it's so good,
consistently too.
Yeah, and I mean that's the difference between a full featured movie that they have time to produce and like a TV
you were talking before, like
out.
Do people like movies? That's one huge selling point.
Yeah,
you know? Like I was talking about earlier, I just watched the Demon Slayer movie, and my God, was the animation immaculate just the whole time. Tyler, this is the most beautiful animation I've ever seen in my life. It is.
Where does that fall in the lineup? So like the most recent thing where I like was just like, oh my gosh, this is gorgeous. Is that Spider-Man movie?
The Into the Spider-Verse. Yeah,
I thought that was amazing.
Yes, it's
I'm sure it's apples and oranges, but like
it is definitely apples and oranges. This is right there with that, if not better. It's so insane. I don't even know how to describe it either.
And what's it on?
I watched it on HBO Max, I believe.
Okay. You'll have to send it over.
Oh, no. Not the movie. The show's on HBO Max, I think. Or no, the show's on Netflix. I don't know. I think the movie's coming on Funimation.
Anime is weird.
Anime is weird.
Is Crunchyroll still a thing? I assume
Crunchyroll's a thing. I don't know. If you ever wanted to see it, like I would probably show you just a clip of it first. I don't know if you'd want to even watch the whole thing. It's one of those things. It's pretty interesting. So usually movies are not canon. Like they're just like their own separate thing.
Okay.
Meaning like, it comes from like the comic book or the manga. That's what it's called there. So canon is like they follow the manga. And filler is like we surpassed the manga, so we need to buy time for it to catch up.
Right. Yeah.
So they come up with their own shit, and that's why it sucks. But this one is actually like a chapter or several chapters of the manga, but it's a movie, so it's just so well done. So it's actually like really interesting that it's all canon. Like
interesting. Okay.
So usually I skip the movies because it's like, well, I don't care because this isn't real or like this is in between the two events that matter or something like that. You know what I mean?
But this actually
this is like this was in the this is.
It's on the timeline.
This is on the timeline. Yes, exactly. And wow, dude. So like the show for me was an 8 out of 10. Like I enjoyed it, but I was like, dude, this is so overhyped. Because let me tell you, dude, this Demon Slayer is just fucking on fire right now. Like the manga sold like 48 million copies, which is the most like ever. And the movie just is like the most highest grossing movie in Japan ever. Highest animated film in the U.S. ever. It was like top 10 in the US grossing, not just like of the week or month, but like for the year ever for an animated movie. Like the first time that's ever happened.
Wow.
Yeah. And this was during the quarantine. So it came out last year.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's insane. Like this is like the most popular show I've ever seen.
So I have to,
sphere.
I mean, I just got to add it to the list and I have to watch it.
Yeah. I don't know if you like it because I still don't know what you don't like about anime.
I don't either.
Yeah.
It's this je ne sais quoi of...
I mean...
I don't like it.
Honestly, you got to finish something first so we could try to dissect what you liked and didn't like.
Yeah.
But...
I mean, Cowboy Bebop will be the thing. So, I'll tell you what. I will finish... How many? That's 20 episodes? Something like that?
Something like that.
I will finish Cowboy Bebop this weekend.
You don't have to do that.
Yeah, no, I will. I mean, but that's the thing is I can buy... Well, let's put it this way. By next Friday, like, because like Chelsea's away right now, so I'm just going to be sitting on a couch watching Cowboy Bebop. By next Friday I'll have it done.
Cowboy Bebop's also amazing because it's just episodic, just like the old Batman stuff, where it's like you can just pick it up whenever because every week we're doing something new.
It's weird because it's like goofy, but then they go like it gets real serious real quick.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, like
that's what I love. It's crazy and it's very adult. Like a lot of the anime stuff is very childish, like silly sometimes, which can be annoying. But that one's like.
I mean, it's the same thing with like if you look at like the Star Wars, like Clone Wars and things like that. Like
sure.
I'm in it for like the canon bits, right?
Yeah.
Like I want to see like this overarching story. I want to see like Obi-Wan and Darth Maul fight, like stuff like that. And it's just like, oh, this is definitely made for kids. This is a kid show that's like teaching lessons of like, you lied to your parents, so. Now the stormtroopers are going to take you. I don't know.
I do go back and watch like Batman the Animated Series and stuff, and I'm like,
that was adult, man. It's like so good.
It's got to be the best because I actually watched it because I got my friend into that stuff. He's a big DC guy, but he's never seen those, and I was like, dude, you got to watch these. Like this is peak DC in my opinion. Maybe besides The Dark Knight, but
sure, yeah. I mean, even that's like how about apples and oranges. Like
it is.
It doesn't shy away from really any. Like it's super super serious and it's awesome. I love it so much,
and it can be goofy at times.
Sure, but like not in a
stupid way.
Yeah, like not in a patronizing way. And even when it's goofy, it's almost like goofy for the adults rather than goofy for the children. Right. Like kids might not get it half the time.
Yeah,
you know?
Like that joke I was telling you about, the Joker makes where he owes taxes or something. And he's like, well, Batman's one thing, but I'm not fucking with the IRS. Like, that's so, like a kid would never get that. Right. You know what I mean? But that's so good. But yeah, so Cowboy Bebop's very adult as well. Like it has those, but it's Japanese, so there's going to be silly moments. Like there's an episode, I guess it's a spoiler, but I don't care. Like there's an episode where they all get like high on mushrooms.
Naturally, I mean, you have.
That's the whole
didn't that happen in like Breaking Bad? You know?
No, that episode was. Wait, you talking about the Fly episode?
No, I just watched it recently, so it can't be Breaking Bad. I don't know.
There's a whole episode in Breaking Bad where it's just they're in like the meth lab and it's just them trying to get a fly.
Oh, maybe that is like these weird kind of like off. Yeah,
that would be like the one filler.
Like
episode.
Lucifer had one where it's just like, hey, everyone's singing like the entire episode. Which like, everyone. It
has to be a filler, right? Like there's just no way. It's just like, okay, let's buy some time so we can get the story all.
Yeah, it's like we paid for 10 episodes and our story really only takes 9.
Yeah, right, exactly. But it's so good. I can't wait till you, because it's episodic, but there are questions you have about everyone's backstory. And is it just Spike and what's the bald guy's name? I forget.
Are you just quizzing me now to see if I actually watched it?
No,
I couldn't tell
I actually can't remember his name either.
I don't know. They just got the dog. That was episode 2.
Oh, dude, I love the dog.
Yeah.
The corgi. Corgis are one of my favorite dogs. So
to the moon.
I was on board.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's just those two. They get a couple more companions, but yeah, it's great. You find out about everyone's like kind of backstory and like this kind of, it doesn't like give it all to you. It's like very mysterious and stuff. It's so good.
I like, and maybe this is something is like, I like the setting and I it's weird because technically Dragon Ball Z had something similar because there's space travel and everything else in there.
It's such a different, it's the setting and the mood though.
Yeah. It's like
where the Dragon Ball Z
almost cyberpunkish.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. That's one of my favorite parts of the whole series is the setting. And
I think that's where I'm at. Like just me as a person in terms of like what I'm interested in or what I want to spend my time watching is I'm into that right now. Yeah. So that's kind of why it's hitting me in a good way.
Yeah, when we were talking about last week, we were talking about characters last week, but I was going over, the different facets of games.
Yeah.
And settings obviously one of them, I was going in my head like, what settings do I actually like? That definitely comes to mind. I love that cyberpunk Cowboy Bebop-esque feel where it's sci-fi, but it's still gritty. It's still very,
it's like Firefly or something
exactly.
like that. Yeah.
Like I love that feeling where it's very humanized and dark and gritty is the best word I can describe it with. Yeah, it's like very real.
You have that and like on the opposite end, you have like your Star Wars, you have your Mass Effect, things like that, where it is very like everything is space.
I think Mass Effect can get somewhere in the realm there, but I understand what you're saying.
They didn't explore it. I never really felt like it was like, oh, here's this massive city in Mass Effect. It was always a space station that you went to.
Yes, I mean, I would say the closest thing is like Omega in 2.
Yeah. It's just not well realized. I guess it's not well realized.
Yeah, you don't get to do a lot there. Mm-hmm. There is the deal. Have you ever played the DLC on that?
No.
So there's an Omega DLC where you and Arya, like get into some trouble or something. Like you do something.
That's cool.
So it does explore it a little bit more with that. So that is, does that come with the Legendary Edition?
Oh, we get everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So you should definitely check that out.
I mean, we did check that box of the Mass Effect.
I was just about thing, Good. Well, that's all good stuff.
Yeah, I know we were going to talk about video games, but this was an anime podcast.
Well, like I said,
today.
You get me on anime, I have no one to talk to about it, so I will go off forever about it.
No, I think that's good.
But I do think it applies to a lot of things across the board, so I think you can make a lot of connections there.
For sure.
But with that being said, kind of a shorter episode this week. Kind of got right down to the point of me just rambling about that.
Yeah, we wanted to make sure we're staying consistent every week, regardless. I know last week we did like 3 hours or something.
Exactly.
So if you average it over, it's totally fine.
Smart.
We're going to go get some dinner. I'm actually very excited for that.
We're going to get some dinner. Yeah, me too. So thank you for watching. You can catch us on Apple Podcasts, Anchor.fm/Couch Company.
Oh, look at that. Yeah, you got it, man.
We're getting better. So we appreciate you. If you like what we do, leave us a rating, leave us a comment.
If you're
I'm looking forward to our first.
Right. Maybe just write.
Are we helping you with your English at all?
Yeah.
Leave us a comment. We'll rate your sentence.
Dude, they
structure.
probably speak better English than we do.
They do actually. Yeah, you can go to Germany and just be fine. So
easily.
That's probably insulting that I said that to him. Whatever. Well, thanks for watching. We'll be back next week, same time, same place. Thanks for joining us on the couch. Thank you.